Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Jam and Cheese Show. Cheese, how you going, lad?
I'm going good. A bit sore, body sore, but liking the new change up. It's
I'm
a bit awkward.
It's taking a little bit of getting used to, but all will be revealed as to what's behind the change up very soon.
There's a little Easter egg. You wouldn't know what that means. It's
No.
It's a gaming term.
Okay.
But yes, I'm very happy. I got through a gritty win on the weekend. Body's feeling it.
But you on a personal note, you played very well. How many minutes did you play? Because you came off for 5?
I think I played 70.
I don't know.
73?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. It was awesome. But how are you, Jimmy? Birthday yesterday?
Yes, it was.
34?
38 and
You're
feeling
welcome.
great.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Look, I'd give it a bit of a nudge yesterday after a long day of work. So I'm a bit fatigued.
There he goes. He's yawning.
Yeah, a bit tired. So, but I had a really fun day. So yeah.
What did you get up to?
Drove to Newcastle. I was driven to Newcastle.
Beers on the ride?
Not on the way there, no. But on the way back, absolutely.
How many? How many Tooheys did you get through?
Don't really count, to be honest.
Count until I can't count.
I don't really see.
Because then I go, mate, I've had 15 beers, you've only had 3.
No, enough. More than enough. But as always, please drink responsibly. You did UFC yesterday?
Yes, I went to the UFC yesterday. I didn't want to talk to Charlie anyways. He asked me to come in and talk, but I didn't want to talk to him anyways. But went to the UFC. It was there's some great fights, but the post fight interviews were pretty interesting.
I've heard, yes.
Yes, there was some derogatory term. Is that a word?
Yes.
Thank you. Some terms getting used, and I think if I was to use that in a post-match interview, I'd be out for 24 weeks.
Yeah. Gates opened at 7 a.m?
Gates open at 7.
I had a couple of mates go there and they were very excited.
Apparently the first fight was a banger. But the last fight was very emotionally upsetting for myself. Obviously a big Adesanya fan, fighting out of New Zealand City Kickboxing, and I sat with all of them at the fight, and
A very unexpected loss, right?
Yeah. This fella, well deserved. He went well, and I was just upset.
Yeah. Oh well, what you can't be upset about is the opportunity this weekend, going down to Melbourne against your old club. How's the emotion around that?
Yeah, I think, like I said it earlier, I think the emotion sort of dimmed down a bit, considering I've played them twice already. We've lost in both those games, but the kind of novelty's not as big now. Being a finals game, it probably feels a little bit different, but there's not been much chat thrown around, and after their performance on the weekend, I think they'll be pretty locked in for the week to go and play against us. But
how's the lads shaping up? It was a brutal encounter against the Sharks. Obviously, you're drained physically, mentally, and emotionally because it's that type of game. But the Roosters have picked up a few injuries as well. Swali, he gone. HIA, got to give a lot of credit to the Roosters for taking him off.
Yeah,
when they did, a few years ago that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So the culture's starting to shift. Credit to them. That also means he will miss this week, I believe. Yeah. I don't think there's any way around that. And the Roosters, you would trust, wouldn't look to try and exploit any loopholes based off the fact he came off at half time from a club imposed.
Well, I think Swali spoke up about how he was feeling about his head, and I think that's what you sort of need to do.
Yeah.
You need to be honest and have honest conversation with the trainer and say, like, I'm not feeling, like, my brain's not feeling great, and credit to him, he did that. And I didn't even know really. To be honest, I don't really know much about what's going on in the team. I just found out Billy Smith fractured his jaw, which I find absolutely crazy because I've broken my jaw before and there's no way I could have played on. No way. And he broke it before he stepped up and kicked the goal to draw the game up. So
yeah,
like that's
he's done a magnificent job as well.
He's been one of our best.
He's been good. You go down there down on troops, but like spirit and
we got momentum. We got
it couldn't be any higher.
Yeah, I think for us it's just we've won a few gritty games now where we probably shouldn't have won, but because of our defence we managed to hold on and win the game. But I think it's time when it comes to like this end of the season, you need to put it both together. You need to be gritty when gritty's needed, and you need to be determined in defence to turn them away. But also you need to be more clinical in attack. You need to, get those passes right. We just didn't do that in the first half, and I feel like if we do that against Melbourne, they've probably got a lot more strike and a lot more weapons to kind of negate our defence that we're trying to put through. Not saying that we won't turn them away, but if we give them that much possession
you can't give Melbourne Storm too many opportunities. They'll make you pay.
Yeah,
just by the makeup of their team, they make any defensive system pay. Matt, I want to ask you about some of the things that stood out for me on the weekend and takes me back to my time playing and like how I feel. Like when you're in that grind and the intercept, Jesse Ramey, I think Trindle breaks away down the field. He's chased back by Collins, but also Tedesco, and then Tedesco just can't help himself but go out hands. Yeah, like after you've just run back and you're going to be under the pump.
Yeah. Well, I was a bit tired at that time, and I remember Lindsay Collins just looked at me and went, "All right, let's go." And I just looked at him and I was like, "Bro."
It's all right. You've just got on.
Yeah, you're looking straight into my soul right now. Like it's not even. I don't even know what you're saying. Like, it was tough, but we got through that period and we were only down by 6. Like that 10-minute period, we were only down by 6. And I remember when Tedesco came back on, looking at the scoreboard, I was like, all right, there's 15 minutes left. Like we can really do this. Like we can do this. And at that point, I kind of forgot that we had lost Sawali and Manu, and you kind of you felt almost more confident that you got through that period without those players, that like you can get this game going. And Sam Walker, he's pretty much built for like that occasion. He's a little tin ass, and he just loves. Like he was just so calm, and he just nailed it. Like, and today I was talking to him about it. He's like, mate, like I'm going to be automatic from 20 meters, and I was like, oh, all right. I was like, that's just the type of kid he is. But just the fact that Lindsay Collins was even in the picture, Sandon Smith, who is playing reserve grade for the most part of this season, he made a massive tackle on Ronaldo Mulatalo. Those are the little moments that win you finals games, and we chased a lot of them little moments, and then fortunately enough that we got a few big ones come our way. The charge downs were huge.
Yeah, massive plays.
Mate, where Luke Carey came from for his one is just stupid.
Yeah, and that speaking of young kids and Walker, that Siwa Wong.
Oh yeah,
mate, he's
been getting all the props lately from Robbo.
Mate,
he's a real player. Yeah, and he is he's not someone that shirks work at training. Like he's a 20-year-old kid that does everything, like everything to a T, like professional, nice kid. Dad's an army man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his name was Cheech. Shout out to Cheech. But yeah, he's going to be the real deal. It's he's just I just don't see him, not being something.
Yeah, you can
like
see
he's playing in the centres. He's a lock.
Yeah, you can see there's something about him that, it really appeals to the NRL, and he suits it, man. He's a gun.
He's a Kiwi too.
Is he? Maybe a chance for Maguire at the end of the year.
Come on, Siwa.
Mate, Maguire will be looking at him for sure.
I think he's already made the call.
Good on him. Good on him. Hey, just quickly on the Storm, how do you think they're reacting in camp at the moment after the news of Ryan Papenhuyzen? Yes, it's good news, but still, like, devastating. Obviously,
it would be devastating for everyone at the club, especially the medical team who. Because I was still there when he was going through, like I was there that year, and just watching how determined he was to get back, and then, something like this happens only a month later. It'd be very tough, and fortunately for him, like it's probably the best time to get re-injured if you're going to get re-injured. But just that it's not so much the physical battle; it's that mental battle of, going through all that again. Is it worth it? And then at the end of it, what kind of mental toll it takes on you about playing and getting re-injured, and it's a lot of strain.
Yeah. It's you can't help but feel for him. It'd be interesting to see how the group down at Melbourne react to that.
I'd love to see what kind of spray they copped, because it would have been.
You reckon?
It would have been an almighty. Because that was like, I love the club, I love all the boys, but they played terrible. Like, and that Craig would, like, if they lost, I don't think he would care as much if they put in a decent performance, but I reckon he would have torn some assholes.
Well, he certainly would have done. I've heard him in the press conference. He can't recall them ever attacking so poorly, and he's right and he's fair, and it was. I think it makes your job even harder going down there now, because I don't think they can play. I don't think they can play like that again. Like Grant, Munster, Hughes, just not anywhere near what we've come to expect in big games.
Yeah,
and obviously Brisbane, close you down, shut you down, put you in bad spots. But I thought one of those three in particular would have.
Well, I thought they had enough opportunity. Like they had a lot of tackles inside that 20-metre line. But this is what I was saying about the Broncos, though, man. They're the real deal.
They sure
they are the real deal.
They sure are. In the other game, the Knights beat the Raiders in extra time. Got to deal with the elephant in the room, the Jack Wighton bite.
Yeah.
What did you make of it?
Honestly, if someone was doing that to me, I'd probably have a little gnaw as well. I'll probably try not to leave that, but yeah, like I reckon if I squeezed you hard enough around your mouth, you'd probably.
Well, Gordon Tallis was saying this in commentary yesterday, and on the bus on the way home, he's like, "Put your arm in your mouth and just apply your own pressure," and you see that. And obviously, look, I've been involved in an incident like this, very, very different, but look, Jack is the bad guy at the moment, and he'll be okay. He'll get through this. It's probably just hard on the people around you. When you're this villain, like he knows he'll have his day at the judiciary. He'll say what he's got to say. Like if he gets a decent suspension, look, he'll have some time to work on himself and he'll come good. But always what I found in any incident like this was the difficulty with people around you. Like they don't like seeing you portrayed as this or this incident highlighted in such a way where it's like, let's throw him to the wolves kind of thing. Look, I guess we'll see what happens, but it's not a fun spot for Jack to be in right now, and we got to be careful how we treat and talk about him, because it's some shit goes down on a football field, and
that's not who he is as a person.
No, and like I say, it's more your loved ones being involved in this, and they have to, like, So like, I don't know Jack and his family situation and his setup, but those are the people that'd be like, oh, Jack, your Jack did this, you know.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Then they're the ones that are in that can't work their way out of this.
Yeah, and
or can't know that didn't happen or did happen. It's
yeah,
you know,
and I haven't been in a situation like this, but it leads us pretty well into what we're going to talk about with the whole Valentine situation. When I got in trouble after the 2021 prelim against Penrith, when I got in that little debacle with Cameron Munster, it wasn't so much, you know, what people were saying to me or what people were saying about me online. It was more so what people, you know, were saying and how it was making my family feel, how it was making my mum, my dad, and my sister, my brother, my niece and nephew at school, like how they were getting treated. And I guess that's what was really impacting me. That was knowing I let people I love down, and by my actions they were paying the price for it.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part, and I can't imagine what Valentine Holmes going through at the moment. It's
and look, there's we're not making any allegations towards Valentine. I think
we're not making the allegations, but the public is.
Yeah.
And the public doesn't really know what actually happened in both situations, but how it affects the people around you is the most important thing. And
no matter what, like people are going to have a comment about this, like they will on Jack, like they did on me, like they did on you. But that's what hurts the most, right?
Yeah,
is the impact that
your actions,
what people say, like even the actions, like it's more about what people are saying about you, and like people, you know, go to extremes and overreach for a reaction publicly, privately, like this person should never play again, or he should do this, and I can't believe, like you're a role model. It's like, and also like for to your, you know, your parents and your family and your other loved ones, like you're a little bit of a you know, they're your pride and joy. Yeah, like, you know, you're still your parents' baby at the end of the day.
And I'm the golden child to my family. Like, Mum loves me more than any other kid, that's for sure. And she didn't. I turned off the golden child for about 2 days after that. So, but then I was back. I'm back. Mama loves me.
But I think with the Val thing, it'll move quickly, this story for him, because I think the NRL need to act quickly, deal with it, and then let the football do the talking, because I think that's probably and even with the Jack situation as well, is these are two things that the NRL, the public is talking about now, but the football's been doing the talking. We had we had 4 games on the weekend, 2 masterclasses by 2 of the best teams in 2 of the best teams in the competition, and then we had 2 really good games. Yeah. So the football's doing the talking. Yeah. But these things happen.
Yeah, that's why I think Melbourne did a great job with us. They nipped it in the butt the next day. Yeah. We got out, we did our speech, like we did our apologies. The NRL gave us our sanctions. We got it over and done with within 3 days. Yeah. And it was a tough 3 days, but I felt like after the sanctions had come out and once it all been dealt with, the public sort of just dies off. Yeah. And everyone says that. Yeah. But when you're actually going through it actually does happen.
Yeah. So I'll come back to that point in a minute, but I reckon NRL get both incidences dealt with by Thursday, and then the football's the talking point again. Yeah. Like it really is, and the standard of football's been through the roof, and we've got some really exciting games coming up this week, and then whoever advances from 2, I think, genuine 50-50 games goes on to play the Broncos and the Penrith Panthers, who were outstanding. But just going back to when you had your incident and when I had mine, did you feel like everyone was looking at you?
Mate, the day it came out I was at Deli M's.
Oh yeah,
with my mum.
Oh God, yeah.
So I was walking on stage accepting my award. Everyone was genuinely looking at me. It was not ideal, but the video came out. The like when I was at the hotel, dressing, getting ready to walk to the Deli M, like it was like a 200-meter walk to the Deli M's, and I remember just from that walk, like I had to tell my mum in the hotel, and I was like, "Mum, this video is about to come out." She didn't really care. She was just like, "Oh, like you know, unlucky." I was like, "Well,
unlucky."
Yeah, unlucky. Pretty much. Like as far as like, obviously she's not gonna go, "Yeah, bloody idiot." Well, my dad would have, but yeah, that was, bro. Everyone was looking at me. I'm not talking. I thought everyone was looking. Everyone was looking at me, bro. It was so. And I remember I was sitting probably like a few tables down from. I could see Connor Watson and Kalen Pong, and they were on their phone. And then I seen like Kalen like look up and then look straight back down, look up and then look straight back down. I was like, yeah, I wonder what they're looking at. Well, but yeah.
You know, when you were in Melbourne at the time, like obviously league isn't as big, but did you feel like a lot more people were like...
Bro, I had people yelling out. Every time I went out, like if I went to the pub or something, people were just yelling out crazy stuff all the time, and I was like, bro, how do you even know who I am? This is Melbourne. Like, it never really, I never really got noticed that much, and that kind of like propelled the,
it's a
notoriety.
Like, look, you're not looking for sympathy, but it is a bit of a strange feeling.
Yeah,
being like the bad guy in the public, and people like
say hello.
It's like, oh, like, like I went to. I was already going to Port Macquarie the weekend after the 2012 grand final, and obviously all that stuff happened. I was in Port Macquarie. It was like, oh, like just awkward. And we were some like really good friends, and they were like one of my mates like said like to a couple of people, "Mate, just leave them alone, just piss off, go away." And then I think a couple of days after that, flew back to England. So it was like then. No one really, and then I went to I was going to Puerto Rico in like just off America. It was just like, well, people
this is a lot better.
Yeah, people are just looking at you because you're ginger. Like, oh, hello. So yeah,
Puerto Rico, people looking at you because you're ghostly white. How's this man? What the hell?
Yeah, can I touch your skin? It's like, oh, yeah.
Is that real? Are you an albino?
Yeah. Hey, moving on from that. Got some really good things happening. NRL, and we started the Life After Football Foundation. So it broke on Channel 7 last night. Something I'm pretty passionate about. I did the concussion podcast called Head Noise. And one of the aims from that was to set up an annual brain, body and mind checkup made available for all former NRL players. So obviously concussion, hot button issue at the moment. Well, not hot button issue. That's wrong. It's a very serious issue, and it has been for a long time. But we need some solutions to this, and I look at 3 areas of it. So you've got junior and amateur participation. So that's an area that I can't really contribute towards or feel like I can know what the correct course of action is. The current NRL player, like the protocols, the rules, I can have an opinion on that based off my experiences, but I think Roosters make a strong standpoint, and there's a culture shift happening. Protect people from themselves, but also understanding that the athlete psyche of like you're willing to do almost anything in the pursuit of glory, and knowing you may fail and continuing on after a concussion might be in your I'll do anything category. Yeah. And you think that that's the right thing to do for the better, like for your own, almost for your own selfish reasons.
Yeah.
So we do need to look around how protect players from themselves. And the thing that you spoke about before it's honesty. There's no there's no test for a concussion. Yeah. Like people see people get knocked out, and that's Captain Obvious comes in and goes, yeah, you concussed, you got to leave, you can't carry on. But there's so many concussions happen that people don't.
I think we call them sparks.
Well, there's
sparks are the ones where you get minor concussed, but you come back really quick.
I get
Like, is there such a thing as minor concussed?
No, well, by definition,
you're concussed.
You're concussed.
Yeah,
you've suffered a concussion.
Yeah.
By what's the correct word? Like by definition, by description, like that's one of the symptoms of concussion is you feel that spark. So there's many a neuroscientist and doctor they would say, well, you're concussed, and if you're concussed, you can't play. Yeah. So the importance of being honest, the communication of the risk is vitally important to the athlete. Yeah. So we've got to understand that the athletes are wired up differently. Like they really are. Like they're not normal people. Yeah. But communicate the risk to them. Yeah. And encourage honesty. But with this, so for the Life After Football Foundation or LAF, is we can't change the protocols from when you're a professional footballer in the 90s, the 80s. We can't change the culture. We can't change the environment. We can't change the rules. But we can look to help those people as much as possible, because when you transition out of sport, a lot changes. But the health and how you basically while you're playing at the moment, right? You've hit your ankle. You've got a team of people around you to make you fit and healthy. Yeah. Like, or if you get if you get symptoms of being ill tonight, what do?
I ring the doc.
You ring the club doctor on their personal mobile phone, right? Yeah. You don't go to your GP or book a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Yeah. Like you're prioritized, and you prioritize your health. Yeah. And we get all the tools and resources and a team of people to do that. Now that can't continue on forever. Yeah. But unfortunately, what happens is a lot of former players neglect their health. They don't have to deal with like pain management. A lot of them suffer from mental health issues. A lot of them suffering from brain trauma issues. And I've said this before, that we're great as a sport at crisis intervention. So Daniel Anson, Roy Simmons, two people who have coached me and I've got so much respect for and so much love for. Daniel Anson has an accident, crisis intervention. We raise millions of dollars. Roy Simmons gets diagnosed with dementia. We walk and raise millions of dollars. But that's at the crisis point where what we're looking to do is encapture everybody for an annual brain, body and mind checkup to track changes, to give actual practical advice on how to, expand your health span, expand your lifespan. I think it's what those former players deserve, because what's done is done, right? I can't change the rules of 2018, I think it was, first year at the Dragons, where I'm knocked out cold on a Saturday, out snoring. Sorry, it was a Sunday in Brisbane.
I don't expect you to remember the day.
Sunday, it's funny, I can remember actually getting knocked out. Most of the times I was knocked out, I can actually distinctively recall it. It's such a strange feeling. Going after Corbin Sims and going back, and then, I'm out, and then being like, did I just... there's a block where I don't remember. Yeah. But then I can remember being around, can remember us winning, can remember Gareth Witter patting his shoulder, getting really upset. It's really weird, how I can remember more of that game than I can a lot of others, and other concussed games. I can remember going in to tackle Boyd Cordner one time and getting my head in the wrong spot. Oh, for fuck's sake! I've done it again, bastard. But we can't. I can't change getting knocked out on that Sunday, and then being allowed to play 6 days later. Can't change that. Yeah. But I can look to track my brain health, my mental health, and my physical health along the way, because these are all holistically, they affect one another. So pain management, I know I speak to a lot of former players and they struggle with pain management, so they self-medicate. And look, I think fundamentally the former players deserve it, and the credit to Peter Volandis and Andrew Abdo for helping us out with this, and got the wheels in motion. Just got to keep progressing it.
Yes, well done, Jimmy. That's outstanding news, and hopefully it helps me out. My brain could use a lot of work outside of the concussions. It could just use work anyway.
Yeah. Well, Cheese, you'll get that help, mate. All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground. It's been, I appreciate you speaking pretty openly as well. And yeah, it's difficult times. It was like when that happened with Val.
Yeah.
And then obviously the thing with Jack was like, oh God, there couldn't be a better, like, couldn't be a, like, we could have just avoided it, couldn't we? We could have just been like, it's been a quiet week. Finals are great. Yeah. So
Sometimes.
my birthday, I love my birthday. Cheese UFC, like, yeah. So yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, no, honestly, you just gotta. It's part of you now, and you just gotta live with it and lean into it, as they say.
One last question on it, because when something like the Val thing breaks, or like something involved in that, does that sort of trigger things for you and be like, oh God?
Well, I sort of. Someone messaged me, Chris Lewis messaged me about it, and I was like, "Yeah, what an idiot!" But yeah, it's it kind of triggers me in not a positive way.
Yes,
it triggers me because I know he's about to go through the fire, and like I know Val very well personally, and yeah, just knowing what he's going to go through. But yeah, I guess I got to reach out to him and explain to him how short of a time it actually does take to get over this thing. It may stick around for a while, but it's at the end of the day, it's part of your story of your life, and you just got to own it.
Well, I think like for me, so I'm commentating with Dan Ganane and Gordon Tallis, and this happens, and I'm like, oh, you know, like.
Anyone say anything?
I know what you're thinking, and you know what I'm thinking, but we sort of like, obviously we're talking about the incident, and then I think about 5 minutes later, I just had to bring it up, and then we.
You leant into it.
I had to go look. Because I couldn't put it on them two to start, like, because then it looks like. Well, also they don't know how I might react. I might tell them like blow up. But not that. Sorry, I wouldn't. But they might be thinking that like a bit edgy about how Jimmy might respond to this. So I'm sat there, and I'm like,
I reckon I would have just looked at you. What's your thoughts on that one, Jimmy?
Well, I think they brought up Kevin Proctor, and then it was like, oh, Kevin Proctor. Yeah, it's like. So they set me up for it, but yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Imagine, it would have been funny if you just, what an absolute idiot. Who would do such a thing?
All right, anyway, let's get on to this.
Fan feelings.
Nothing more than.
How do you feel?
All right, Tooheys, thank you so much. Fans feeling, one of my favourite parts of the show. Actually, might have one of these on the way home. Take the edge off.
And I'm cheering today. I walked into the office, brand new at Tooheys.
Yeah, you
and I'm over the moon with it. I grabbed it straight away. And for anyone who wanted to know how big Gemma's head was, when I put it on,
mate,
it was...
yeah, mate, I tried it on, but I'm not a hat wearer. I look awful.
I wouldn't wear a hat if it's hanging on for dear. Hanging on.
You dickhead, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that.
100%
Mate,
it
wasn't like that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It was like that. And it was stretching at the seams.
Yeah. Well, you have your hat. I'm going to have a Tooheys in my Uber home. All right, let's get into it. Angus Campbell, after the thrilling games at the weekend, what's the craziest games you guys have ever played in?
This is a good one for me. Melbourne Storm versus Sydney Roosters. It's my 50th game. It was crazy. It was Luke Keary kicked the field goal with 30 seconds to go. We did a short kick. Got the ball back. Ryan Papenhuyzen kicked it with 6 seconds to go. Went to extra time. And then Jake Friend gave a penalty away. Dale Finucane playing the ball, and we won 26-24, I think.
How good
But
is
that was that. I think there was like 6 lead changes in that game, and when Paps kicked that field goal, I remember walking into the huddle and going, "I fucking love you, boys." It's my 50th game. It was just, I was acting like it was my 300th.
For me, Angus, it would have to be that 2020 grand final over in England. All on the line. Like,
Was it the one where off the
yeah, my good friend Tommy Makinson. Well, they had
Was it Tommy Makins?
no, they had a first off where 4-4. Yeah, 4-4. We scored a try. They got 2 conversions or 2 penalties. We go. They then had another penalty. What was it? 8? Anyway, I know that they had a penalty from about 45 meters out to win. They go short. We catch the ball. This is in there's
They go.
60 seconds on the clock. We work the ball forward. Tommy Makinson has a shot at the field goal. He's running off thinking he's got it. It hits the beans on toast. Bounces down, bounces over, and Jack Wellesby's there. Like a grand final.
What was that? He's the 6 for England.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
He's a
man.
very good player.
He's a very good player.
Yeah, that for me, by far the most.
Yeah, I remember the video of your reaction to this.
Oh man!
And you were not ready to celebrate.
No, you can't. Mate, you don't. Well,
Your face went through that many expressions.
well, mate, the fourth official come to me. He's like, "Congratulations, James, you've won." They're gonna give it. I was like, mate, until I see it on there, I was like, mate, no, like wait, and yeah.
What about you? Got the whisperers, little fourth official come up to you and say congratulations.
Yeah.
For,
Cheers,
start
sir.
calling you
Cheers,
Littlefinger. Got all the spies everywhere.
Cheers, sir. Thanks for that. But yeah, that was
Yeah, that's insane.
bananas. Like you couldn't script that.
No, that's insane.
You actually couldn't script it. All right, Matt Lewis. As a proud Englishman, do you think only English-born players should play only for England?
You can't be born Spanish.
I don't know. Well, if you qualify and you want to play for England, I think that's what it should be. Like I've played with players that weren't necessarily born there,
Yeah.
but they want to play for different reasons.
Yeah.
And I'll take the field. I would have taken to the field with them, and I did, based off the fact that knowing that what they're doing this for, it's not to just get representative football. It's because they want to play for England. Victor Radley, like he come out and said, "I want to play." I heard him speak. I spoke to him on the podcast, and it's like, "Yeah, I'll put a white jersey on with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go."
Mate,
Like,
he was that good on the weekend. Yeah, well, his dad's a full palm. Like full palm.
All right, last question. Muzz Dooley. Would you rather fight a monkey with a sword once a year or a chicken every time you get into your car?
Fuck.
Where are you going?
I'm not scrapping a monkey with a sword, bro. I'm not scrapping. Oh, have you ever seen a monkey before? Have you ever ran into a monkey in Bali? Their things are savages, bro. Imagine one of them.
I don't think you're winning.
One of them stole my thong underneath my bloody foot. Imagine him with a sword. He's slicing and dicing.
Oh no, I think I implied that you have the sword.
Oh yeah,
You've got to.
I'm fucking that monkey up with a sword.
Yeah, but that's it. You got to kill a monkey. They're very like.
What are you doing with the chicken? Dinner?
Yeah. But every time you
Would you rather have a free dinner in your car every morning? That's what they.
I'd probably do a lot more walking. I'd be a bit more efficient with my journeys. Like,
He's always got a way around.
You know, well, if it's every single time.
Yeah,
you know,
sorry. I thought it was the monkey
had the sword.
Had the sword.
Well, you'd never do that. But if you have the sword, you've got to actually take.
You're gonna take action.
You're gonna have to kill the thing. So, yeah, for me, chicken. I'd be.
Have I ever told you when I killed a chicken?
I don't think so.
I think I've told it on this podcast. But I was shooting targets one day. No, I have told it before. I'll leave it out of that.
All right.
It did a backflip. That's the end of the story. And then it died.
Did you eat it?
No,
That's a waste of a
it
life.
wasn't actually my chicken. It was my housemate. It was one of my best mates' chickens.
Were they upset?
I think he was laughing, but his dad wasn't happy.
Is it an egg-laying chicken? Do all chickens lay eggs?
Yeah, roosters don't.
Cheers. All the very best against the old team this week, mate.
Thank
really
you.
looking for. Hey, forgot to ask, the foot's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, the foot's all right.
All right. You definitely you're in.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All the best, lad.
Thanks, mate.